Welcome back to the channel, and I have something special to share today. This is a 1995 Mexican-made FSR Fender Fat Tele Telecaster. This guitar just came out of nowhere into my possession. I was at the Showtime Music Store near Beckley, West Virginia a few weeks ago, and they had just gotten this in on a trade. And I'm generally very familiar with most types of Telecasters and Stratocasters over the years during my time playing, which goes back to about the year 2000. And I did not know what this thing was. I looked at the serial number and could tell that it was a 1995 model, but I didn't recall this specific one. I knew there was a Fat Tele from a few years after that, because when I was a freshman at West Virginia University in 2002, one of the music stores there had one that I loved, but it was like $490, and in those days that was unattainable. And even though I loved it and really wanted to have one, I never got one. And how I do. The reason why I couldn't recognize this is it was a special run. It appeared to be only for a short time in 1995. And it really makes me nostalgic, because anyone who is familiar with Fenders, especially Mexican Fenders of that era, this just really took me back to when I first started playing. Because as you may have seen on the channel, my favorite guitar is a black Mexican-made 1992 Fender Telecaster that's highly modified. But this one, though I thought that it was modified in the store just because of its features, is stock. And the sound of this bridge pickup really took me back to the Telecasters of the day when I started playing in the early 2000s. I'm pretty sure it's ceramic. It has a lot of bite. I love it. It verges on ice picky, but it's not quite there. And it doesn't sound like any of my other mini Telecasters. And again, it just really sounds exactly like what I remember Telecasters sounding like that were new when I first started playing. This humbucker, it sounds great with some gain on it. It's very dark, but it balances well in these in-between settings. I've tried to figure out what they are. I can't find anything online specific to this model because it was so limited and sort of obscure. But based upon my own ears and what I've researched, I think that I'll go through here. And I'm counting 1 as the bridge position and 5 the neck position is the way I'm going here. 1 is just the bridge pickup. 2, I believe, would be the closest thing to a traditional Tele middle position. I think it's one of the humbucker coils and the bridge position. 3, I think, is the full humbucker and bridge position. 4, I think, is just one of the coils of the humbucker, and 5 is definitely the full humbucker. And it sounds great. I'm going to play you some sound samples here. Again, it's kind of dark, clean, but with some gain, it sounds really great. I've already recorded on it. There's a song I have coming out called Chase the Wind, and this plays the lead fills in the intro lead part. If you listen to that here, of course, that'll be a few months from the time this video is released, but I just loved it. It really nailed the tone I was looking for in that part in a way that my Les Paul and PRS didn't. But I'll go through some more of the specs. You can see a bit of wood grain through there. I've done some research. The wood grain seems more prevalent on the top. It might be a ash veneer over a poplar body, which would make sense, because I think poplar is what they used on the Mexican Telecasters in those days. I know my 92 was poplar. Maple neck. It looks almost roasted, though I'm sure it's not, because that wasn't really a thing back then. There's the headstock. The vintage style push-in tuners work great. I have not done, these are the strings. They put new strings on it in the store that day, and I've had it for probably 3 or 4 weeks now. And so I've not changed the strings, so I've not opened anything up. But in part because I just love it the way it is. Once I figured out it was stock, most likely, I had no intentions of doing anything to it, so I've not messed with the insides. It has 6 individual saddles there, and unlike my 92, it is string through. Weighs, I weighed it when I first got it, I think just under 8 pounds. And again, not that this is something that a lot of people watching this would necessarily be shopping for, but just to give you an idea of what it is. And again, if you loved Fender guitars in the 90s and early 2000s, just sit back and enjoy a vintage throwback, because again, I just really love the nostalgia this makes me feel for guitars that were on the store walls when I first started playing, and ones I wanted and couldn't get. And you know, to go back and to get, it wasn't this exact model of Fat Tele, but to get one I wanted when I first started playing and couldn't afford because I was a teenager. I mean, it's really gratifying after all these years. And I flat out tell you, I got it for $400. I figure it's probably worth more than that, and I think they knew it too. They had just that day gone it in on a trade, and so they made money off of it. They told me they hadn't really gotten the chance to sit down and do a lot of research. They hadn't even put a price tag on it yet. I just happened to come in. So I got a really good deal on it, because obviously I'm not in need of any more Telecasters, but I just love this one. And just for a little comparison on the color, this is, I would call just a regular blonde. By comparison, here's my parts caster with the Baja Tele body. This is more of a true, what you would consider closer to, not exactly like a 52 butterscotch blonde, just for a little color comparison. You can see this is ash, and you can very clearly see that, and just barely see a little grain through this finish. But just wanted to do a little comparison there. So I'm gonna go through some of the sounds through a couple different amps, and hope you enjoy it and enjoy this trip down memory lane like I do. Going straight into a Fender Champion 600 with an SM57. Starting with position 1. Position 2. Position 3. Position 4. And position 5, the full humbucker. See how round and warm that is? bridge, this is what I was talking about. That traditional 90s, early 2000s Mexican Fender pickup sound. Which if you were around in those days, this should take you back. Playing through a Vox AC10 amp and a Full Drive 2 Overdrive pedal. Start with the bridge position. Really great classic Tele sound. Some chords. Second position. Middle position. Fourth position. And the full humbucker. It really sings with overdrive. JHS Angry Charlie Distortion pedal, which has more gain, turns off the full drive, starting with the humbucker. hope you enjoyed hearing what this thing can do. I really did. It was a blast from the past for me because, again, I started playing guitar in about the year 2000, and this is exactly what Mexican-made Telecasters sounded like from the bridge pickup in those days. And it might be the best example that I've heard of a stock bridge pickup from that era, and I just love playing it. It really took me back. That's a fantastic guitar. I've always wanted a Fat Tele, and now I have one. Have one from 1995, which makes it even better. I might be able to tell, this guitar does have some real-life aging, not relicking, on it. It does have a poly finish, which I generally prefer, so you're not getting the checking and things like that you might with a nitro finish, but might be able to tell there's some rust there on the bridge and the saddles, and that is genuine. There's a little bit of discoloration on the back. I have no idea what that's from, but it is all honest wear, and gives the guitar a lot of character. And get a little bit of the same here on the tuning machines and the headstock and the humbucker, and I mean, it's just great. It has a lot of personality. It's just a wonderful guitar. Of course, it's very reminiscent to a certain guitar that Keith Richards is very famous for, and that just makes it even better. So to find this at such a low price, I have just sold a guitar that was rather dear to me, so I had a room in the collection for it, and I loved getting it, and I'm very happy to have it. Again, it's already appeared on the new album. More on that in the very near future, as it's almost done. And I just absolutely love it. So that just shows that every now and then, if you go to your local guitar shop, you'll turn up something special like this. And again, I paid $400 for it. There's honestly not enough on Reverb to tell what they really go for, but I would say probably more in the $500 or $600 range for this condition and this color, probably would be what you would expect to pay. So I definitely got a deal. And I mean, just playing it in the store that day, I know I couldn't go home without it. So if you see one out there, feel free to give it a try. I'm not claiming it's going to be a collector's item or anything like that, but it just shows that even if you're like me and you're pretty heavily involved in the guitar world, something you didn't know about can come along and surprise you. So stay safe out there, have fun, play your guitars, actually play them, and keep on rocking.